Hi. Yes, we are live. Hi, how are you? I think everybody will be fine. And जिस तरह से पाकिस्तान खेला है वो भी बहुत कमाल होगा। मेरे साथ एक इंग्लिश जर्नलिस्ट है, इंग्लिश फैन है, इंग्लिश क्रिकेट की फैन है। सो उनसे भी इंग्लैंड की क्रिकेट के बारे में बात करेंगे कि भाई इंग्लैंड की क्रिकेट में मतलब जैसे पाकिस्तान खेला है, आई थिंक हम एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे थे, पर उनसे पूछते हैं कि क्या एक्साइटमेंट है। सो हाय, हाउ आर यू एंड टेल
I'm
मी
like,
योर
yeah,
excitement. How you see
amazing.
Pakistan? We have so much to talk about. I think in past we just have one thing to talk about, just Babar Azam batting, Babar Azam 100. But now we have Shan Masood 150. Although it's drop catches, it's missing stump chances, but it's all part of game. And sometimes you lucky, sometimes you are not lucky. And now Abbas clicks, Yasir Shah out to root, or and then Shaheen Shah Afridi. How you see game?
I see Pakistan winning this, and and that's fine by me. That's what I predicted actually before it started. In speaking to the Stani army, I think Shan Masood. I mean, Babar yesterday was just a thing of beauty to watch, wasn't he? I was so disappointed when he was out this morning. I really was. But Shan Masood, fantastic! What an innings, really. And
Amazing.
as you say, people get dropped. This happens. Luck is part of a big innings for nearly everybody.
Yes, it's happened. I think now I think in Pakistan people are so early about captain and vice captain. Now people are talking about. I think Shan Masood play 150. I think before 2 3 hours ago, and people start talking about Shan Masood captaincy.
Oh,
Shan Masood should be Pakistan Test captain. As a lead, should not perform well. How you see as a relief? Do you think Pakistan PCB and board still need to support as a rally, or it's too much like South Africa tour, Australia tour? We have one two good innings at home, but right now not clicking. What do you think? What's different with them?
I,
What's difficult with Azarelli? What's wrong with Azarelli?
I don't know. I mean, I think his captaincy has been very good. I think we have to talk about Joe Root's captaincy today after lunch was awful. If we're honest, he let Shadab settle in, who also, by the way, has to take great credit for what he did today. You know, he's probably cemented himself as an all rounder. Just trying to keep an eye on it as well, make sure no more wickets fall. You know, that to bowl himself and give those runs away was crazy by Joe Root. So I think for his captaincy, Azar gets to stay, and you have to hope that he finds some runs. Shafiq, I'm not so sure he should stay.
Yes, yes. I think our seniors are not performing well. Like we want as a Shafiq to run some. We want as a rally to run runs. I think if you really wanna make runs, you should be technically correct, like Babar Azam. So that's so much difficult for Pakistan team. Is I'm just having questions. अगर किसी का क्वेश्चन भी हो तो बिल्कुल पूछो, हम लाइव में क्वेश्चन लेंगे. So we are talking about right now current game. I think right now as Pakistan team, I think it's 80% in Pakistan favor game
Yes,
on day two. It's
yeah.
look after root wicket. I think it's turning 80% to, but England is playing one batsman less, I think, and now Pope is not. Butler form is not good. So how you see Butler form? I think he's dropping catch, missing stump chances, not performing so well in batting. So how you see?
I think Butler. I think I've got a feeling they're going to give him the summer, but for me, I wouldn't have given him the summer. He's never. He's performed once or twice against a red ball. He's a supremely good white ball cricketer, but I'm not convinced he's got what's needed for a red ball cricketer. And his wicket keeping isn't really good enough, is it? If we're honest, it's not really good enough. I really feel for Ben Stokes, actually. Ben Folkes, get my really. You know, he's by far a better wicket keeper. He
What
should
did you
be
think?
there.
What's wrong with Joe Root runs? I think Joe Root is not runs very well. How do you see Joe Root as batsman? I think is slipping in Fab 4, sometimes slipping coming on Fab 4. So how do you see Joe Root
I
batting? What's wrong with Joe Root batting?
I don't know. I don't think it's been where it should be for a couple of years now. Actually, this Fab Four situation. I think it's a Fab Five, and I don't think Joe Root's in it. I think that Babar and Labuschagne are in it, along with the other three.
Yeah, I think Babur looks so dominating. Before series, we are talking about who's gonna dominate. Is there Jamie Anderson, Stuart Broad, Jofra Archer dominate Babar Azam, or Babar Azam dominate? So how you see Babar Azam technique? What about today? I think today he start his inning to 69. If he start today inning from zero, then he should take 10 to 20 balls and settle down, and then but he goes so early. So how you see, if Babar did well and make big hundreds like 160, 170, then he will be recognized in international media, and people start talking about and then comparing out. But if Babar making little runs like 60, 70, then he not in international media. How you see Babar not converting inning to 150, 200?
I think Babar has to be recognised because he's just the most beautiful batsman to watch in the world at the moment. So for that alone, I think, and I actually also think if they hadn't gone off yesterday, he would have reached that century. I think that was to Pakistan's detriment. The bad light. I think he was in his flow, wasn't he? But next time, hopefully.
How you see Pope on 40? I think I just look at scoreboard. Pope on 40. I'm quite surprised. How you see Pope?
I'm not surprised. Pope is an extreme talent. He's a wonderful batsman. I first saw him bat for England under 19s. In a losing cause actually against India under 19s, but he was superb. He's got something of Ian Bell about him, and I'm sure in time, I wouldn't want it yet, but I think in time we'll see him probably batting at 3. But because Joe Root doesn't like batting at 3, does he? He really doesn't, and I'm not convinced about Crawley at 3. Pope is good enough, but I leave him where he is for now. He's fantastic. Butler is in, yeah, we'll see how he does.
Do you think England have one batsman less, like England should add one more batsman, or do you think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay. And I'm going to say something really, really controversial now. I'd have rested Ben Stokes for this match. And I actually want Sam Curran in pretty much every England team. Because
he did well.
Yeah, he brings variety. And when England bowlers are running in and struggling, it's really easy to see that they just need something a bit different. And when Ben Stokes is bowling, he can give that. But Sam Curran most definitely can. So I'd have been... Sorry, go on.
Do you think England needs strong captain? Because England have so much talent like Jamie Anderson, Stuart Broad. If we talk about young talent, Sam Curran, Tom Curran, and so much. Morgan is strong captain, but in Test cricket, I don't think so. Root is so strong captain. I think he really want. His billing is so okay, but somewhere I don't know what's wrong with Root and captaincy. What do you think, Root captaincy? England needs strong captain in Test.
Yes, I do, and I'm Joe is unconvincing for me. I mean, Rory Burns is an experienced captain. So whether he's a possibility for the future, I'm not sure. He captained Surrey to the county championship, so you've got an experienced captain there. But this is some of the trouble, isn't it, with international cricket, particularly in England, because they have central contracts. Some of them play so little actual club cricket. They don't learn to be a captain until they're actually in the England team, which is what happened with Joe Root. He just, he looked disheartened today after lunch. He looked disheartened, as if he didn't know what was needed to actually get things sorted. Now, Shan Masood, wow, what an innings. He played brilliantly, I thought. Those sixes were just fantastic, weren't they, to bring Pakistan to 300? Just amazing.
He's also a captain of Pakistan PSL team, Multan Sultan, and he's very good T20 specialist, and his power hitting against spins, I think, brilliant. I think the one more technical question regarding England openers, how do you see stance? I think in Pakistan people are so much talkative about Sibley and Bun start. People are so talk about, because Pakistan people never believe on these kind of stance. If whenever they are getting runs or not runs, but people, you should bet like that, you should bet like that. So much on basic. How you see these two openers stance? Do you think it's okay to compete with at international level against high quality bowling?
Having watched Burns live quite a few times, his stance is bizarre, but it has been effective, and so has Dom Sibley. I know they both get a lot of criticism, but they've been consistent for us as openers in a way that other people just really haven't. I mean, Crawley opened, didn't he, for a while as well? I think we won't see any changes there this series.
Yes, Crawley looks so good. I think he also looks so good technically. But what do you think? Right? I think it's too early to talk about. We just have on day two, its first
Yeah.
test match. England can come back. I think England will come back. The kind of champion players they have, Root, and especially Ben Stokes, and the kind of experience Jamie Anderson, Stuart Broad. But what do you think? What's wrong with England in these 2 days? What do you think? Lack of captaincy, fast bowling, in bowling changes, in batting lineup. What do you think? What's wrong with the England right now?
I'm going to turn that round. Let's give the credit to Pakistan rather than what's wrong with England. Let's give the credit to Pakistan. England regularly lose a first test match in the series. And they also regularly lose the first test match against Pakistan in the series. Yes. I don't know. It's almost as if they should know. They obviously don't know Nazim and Shaheen in Test cricket, but they know a lot of these players. But I don't know. Perhaps too casual.
What do you think Ben Stokes' position? Like, people are so much talking about he's doing good on number 5 and now he's promoted number 4. How do you see this change? I think it's minor change or it's bigger change in performance. How do you see 4 or 5 number?
I'd rather he was at 5. I would have played Crawley. I wouldn't have included Ben in the first place, but if we're going to presume that he's the 5th best batsman in the world at the moment, and you have to include him, I'd have included Crawley, and I think I would have left Bess out because Joe Root can spin some. I know Pakistan have gone with 2 spinners, but Bess has not been effective, has he? And he wasn't effective in the West Indies matches. You know, does there have to be a spinner? I don't know.
And the one fact, Pakistan plays spin really well. That's also the maybe somewhere edge Pakistan play spin very well. Bairstow, I think England also have little bit issues like with bowling, batting. I think they have so much talent. But right now, what do you think? Bairstow should be permanent as test keeper or not? Butler?
Not Bairstow, absolutely not. No, his average last year with the bat was 18.6. Yes. He needs to go and play some county cricket before he comes back to a test team. And I want a wicket keeper. Being wicket keeper, I don't want a batsman who can keep wickets. And that's what both Butler and Bairstow are. You know, I want a wicket keeper first. And there are some, you know, Folkes is the obvious, but there are some young ones coming through as well.
How do you see Pakistan playing with 2 spinners? Do you think it's good planning or it's just a fluke and now pitch done so much? It's just we are on day 2. So how do you see Shadab and Yasser? We also criticize so much 2 leg spinners. We want 1 left arm spinner to play. But I think management want England openers and especially England batsmen not really good against spin on front foot. So they want someone from leg spin on a play on front foot. So how do you see Shadab and Yasser playing same match?
I think it's a very brave move, really, by M.Abbas, and I hope it comes off. You know, I mean, Yasser has got the wicket this morning. I'm not sure. Funny enough, I'm not sure I would have included him. He's not done all that well at Old Trafford, has he, in the past? But we'll see. I mean, Shadab has not bowled yet, has he, this evening? Pope's on 42, so I can see Pope getting a decent innings here, actually. England certainly need one.
Yes, Yasser is leaking runs, I think, in 4 over 26 for 1. So why not England? Pakistan should try Shadab. So I think Shadab is... How do you see Shadab batting? We saw some glitzy innings in PSL. So how do you see Shadab batting? It's... I think in statisticians talking about Shadab is not really good in against short balls, against high quality bowling attack, because he's a good player of spin or he's a good player of medium pacers. So how do you see Shadab batting?
I
Because
think
Shadab runs are so important.
yeah, I think he batted really well and really intelligently, actually. You know, the number of, I mean, poor Shan Masood really must be exhausted. The number of singles that they took, you know, it's important to swap the batsman round. I thought he played really well. I didn't see him get out. I popped out for a little while, but did he do something against Bess? Was that a wicket that Bess got? I don't know.
Who's your keeper for Pakistan side, Sarfraz or Rizwan? I think Rizwan waited so much, and now Sarfraz also willing to play. And I
I
think
have,
person willing to play definitely. How do
I
you
have
see who should be first choice wicket keeper for Pakistan?
I haven't really seen very much of Rizwan. I like what I've seen so far of his keeping, but I think for the player coming in when Rizwan came in to bat, I think I'd have preferred Sarfraz coming in. And I have to say, he looks a lot fitter than he did. He seems to have been working on his fitness. I like Sarfraz a lot, but again, actually, I'd quite like to see. Is there not a younger keeper that could come in? Because Rizwan's not exactly a spring chicken, is he? Where are the young players?
I think Pakistan have so much issue. Sometimes we just cry. We are proud cricketing nation and we don't have world class spinner right now like of Saeed Ajmal. We don't have world class wicket keeper like MS Dhoni. We don't have world class like openers like Rohit Sharma. So sometimes we cry, but our youngsters, sometimes our youngster like Naseem, Shaheen come and play very well. So I don't know what's wrong with Pakistan. But my last question is that what's wrong with us this week? He's most senior guy in Pakistan team, and we want him to runs. I don't know what's wrong with us this week because we really want. They are doing good. Azhar Ali and SHV are doing good when they are under Misbah, but now they get the most senior spot in Pakistan team and most senior players in Pakistan team. Their performance low, state low. So how you see SHV?
One of my Stani Army friends suggested that actually try Imam in that spot instead of Shafiq, which is an interesting thought. You know, I see Imam as an opener, but it might be interesting to see him come in at what 5 it would be, wouldn't it? To see
There's also another guy, Fawad Alam, who's really good in domestic cricket. So how you see Fawad Alam? I think his stance little bit like Sibley because he's shuffling so much on grease. Do you ever see Fawad Alam on international level on domestic?
No, and yet he's got an average of over 56. How is he not playing for Pakistan? He's played 3 Test matches, hasn't he?
Yes,
I don't understand why he's not played. He's obviously, you know, he's got a huge 12,000 first-class runs, and yet he's not played for Pakistan more than 3 times. It's bizarre.
You know, I think such a big bad performance can be open way for us, Fawad Alam, because he's really good.
Yeah, so perhaps leave Shafiq for the next one, and let's have Fawad in if we're going to stick with these 2 spinners. Shaheen's back on now.
Yes, Shane. Best last question and just a quick respond on 30 second, 40 second. What to expect on next day? What we should expect from Pakistan, England on day 3?
Let's say England all out for under 200. I don't. Pope has got the skill.
It's all about Pope.
Yeah, it's resting on Ollie Pope, 22-year-old Ollie Pope now. From England's point of view, if I had Sam Curran coming in now, I would be a lot happier. But I'm quite happy that Pakistan are in this position.
Definitely.
Sorry, England.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for